Weigh-in procedures. The purpose of weigh-ins is to ensure the safety of all players. 1 hour prior to game time, weigh-ins should begin. The following presentation is a guideline to help maintain uniformity for all weigh-in procedures. Weigh-ins should be administered by CGDPCA from the host chapter, not from any visiting chapter, nor by any roster team official from the host team about to play. Welcome both teams to the field. Indicate location of weigh-in area and allow any player with responsible team official to be weighed in before official weigh-ins begin. Weigh-in areas. All weigh-in areas are normally away from public access, and weigh-in officials and home team board members are there to enforce that rule. Have the team line up in roster order. This should have been done by the team representative before approaching weigh-in area. Whom may be in the weigh-in area? 2 CGDPCA from host chapter, or more if desired, and 1 authorized person from home and visitor team, not in coaching capacity, and the equipment manager. Contract book. Ask the team rep from the visiting team for the contract book. Check for player pictures for the proper OCJAAF approval. Communicable disease sheet. Hospital certificate. Insurance certificate. Risk management certificate. Repeat with home team. Think you're done? Collect 2 blank game day rosters, black and white copies. Do not accept the certified color copies that must stay with the contract book. Who gets checked first? The visiting team always get checked first. However, if one of the teams is not present, the weigh-in will proceed with the team that is ready first.
What happens when there are not enough players? Then it is considered a forfeit. However, in almost all cases, it should be a forfeit with the game being played. You must indicate this by checking the appropriate box at the top of the roster. We do not mention the word forfeit to any player, and especially to officials, referees on your field. Referees are not obligated to officiate at forfeited games. Late players. If a player is expected, they have 15 minutes before game time to be included in the weigh-in. However, you would need to find out if such a late player will be eligible to be included in the pregame weigh-in. meaning the head coach may have a rule in place which disciplines late players. If a player reports later than 15 minutes before game time or prior to the start of halftime, you can process this player at the weigh-in area during the halftime break. However, again, please verify with the head coach as to their eligibility. They may be disciplined and not be able to play in accordance to team rules. Halftime weigh-ins. Please be sure that both team parents are with you in the weigh-in area when you process late players. Please also be sure you have the game day rosters for your players. Head coach must sign. Whether it is a regular game or a forfeited game, the head coach must sign the roster and indicate the number of referees before the start of the game. Must plays are to be appropriately marked prior to the start of the game and within reasonable time to allow the document to be dispersed to the CGDPCA for must play monitoring. This means you must allow the official game day document in your possession at the conclusion of the weigh-in to be released to the head coach for must play marking. Please be sure to have checked off this roster as the official game document at the top, and it must be the same document that will come back to you to disperse to the CGDPCA for must play monitoring before the start of the game. The official game day document, responsibilities of the CGDPCA and must play monitoring. The purpose of the game day roster is to act as the one and only official OCJAAF document which verifies that the following has taken place on game day. 1. Players were appropriately weighed in and the team qualifies for a game, a protest, or a forfeit with game or without game. Again, ensure the appropriate box has been checked. 2. It also documents when a player is unable to play, absent, ill, sick, disciplined, etc. 3. It tells you also who may be eligible to enter the game field per the list of roster staff and who must present their OCJAAF ID badge before entering the field. 4. It verifies that the head coach has reviewed the above prior to the start of the game by signing the official game day document. 5. It verifies that all players have met their minimum must-play requirements per OCJAAF rules. 6. And lastly, it verifies the official game day score and that this document is complete when both CGDPCA, referred to as monitor and spotter on this form, and each has signed and provided a contact telephone number. It is important to understand that all of the above must be complete in order for OCJAAF to accept the official game day document as its only record of the game played. When it is missing, when it is unidentifiable as to whether or not a player has fulfilled the must-play requirement, there will be penalties assessed to the chapter and team head coach for non-compliance. Here are some of the important reminders about your role in the area of must-play monitoring. 1. Please remember when the game is under protest or an appeal has been filed, it is this document that will be used first and foremost when preparing the appeal or protest. It is for this reason, and/or if the Commissioner's Office has problems concerning this game day document, you shall be called upon to assist in this process. This is the reason you must indicate a contact number once you have signed off on the game day document. 2. The most important role you perform as a CGDPCA while conducting the must-play monitoring is to ensure that both teams are given fair and impartial consideration of the OCJAAF rules. It is important for you to perform this role in not just looking for your own chapter players, but for all OCJAAF players. 3. You are a valuable part of the OCJAAF family, and the Saturday games cannot take place without you. 4. You are performing this role as a representative of your chapter and your head coach. Please conduct yourself with the understanding and compassion of all you will represent. Remember to be courteous, patient when necessary, and most of all, never condescending or disrespectful to those whom you will come in contact with. During the first few weeks of the games, there will be some chaos and shortcomings at most game fields. Understand, we are all getting acclimated to these procedures and all trying to do the best we can. Bad attitudes and/or rude comments don't help the process and certainly should be eliminated. At the weigh-in or on the field, we are all working together for the sake of the players and to ensure they have a safe and enjoyable environment to play football. It should not be each of us against each other. Work to make our combined efforts in the best interest of our player participants. 5. You will be partnered with the opposing team, CGDPCA, to work together as a monitor or a spotter. You are a monitor when at your own home field. This means you will be responsible for marking the game day document. You are a spotter when you are at a visiting field. You will decide which team, home or visitor, you will be monitoring at the time of introductions and assignments about 5 to 10 minutes before the start of the game. 6. Where do we stand during the game? First and foremost, please make sure you are both together while standing along the sideline at all times. You have the authority to walk the entire sideline from goal to goal. However, please do not interfere in the coach's box at the 25-yard line. It is always best to identify players while standing behind the line of scrimmage, looking at their backs. It is sometimes difficult to read numbers while facing in front. Please no food or drinks while you are on the sideline. Okay for bottled water. Please check the rules with your hosting chapter for fields with pro turf. It may also be a good idea to wear a large hat to protect you from the sun rays. It's rather hot during the daylight games and cold in the evenings, so wear appropriate clothing. 7. Your role while on the game field is to monitor must plays only. You do not coach, you do not yell at the players, you do not send coaching signals across your field to your team, you do not use a cell phone or have a Bluetooth earphone in your ear. You are there to represent OCJAAF and to monitor the team for their must plays. Please don't make it an opportunity to be on the sideline so you can cheer on your child and act overzealous throughout the game. You may be removed from the sidelines for violation of these rules. 8. Before the start of the game, it would be a good idea to establish a chain of command with the team you are monitoring and find out whom you will be discussing must-play concerns with. For instance, who do you see on the sideline when you have a must-play problem? Please do not allow any potential problem not to be addressed as soon as it is identified and/or prior to it becoming a potential problem. Again, as a monitor spotter, we need to work together in the best interests of the players and again to protect the head coach. At minimum, it should be required one warning to fix the problem. If it is ignored, then it becomes a blatant violation that you will indicate on the game day roster. You are not required to continuously follow for correction of this problem. Again, if your warning goes ignored, it will then become a violation and you will note same on the game day roster. Do not assert yourself and/or any authority to get in the face of the head coach or other person whom you have established as the team must play contact. We are to avoid altercation at all costs and to remember our code of conduct at all times. Yes, there will be coaches who will not act appropriately, and you can indicate your complaint by writing this on the back of the game day roster at the end of the game. If all else fails and you feel the situation is getting far out of hand, please look for an OCJAAF agent on the field or direct yourself to the chapter officer of the day, its chapter president or other authority member. Try to remember our adult code of conduct and the children whom we represent, as they will be watching you as well. Be the best example for them. 9. Remember to check off the player as they complete their designated must-play